So in today's video, we've got another tablet by Vankyo. So this is the second tablet that I've looked at by Vankyo. The first one I actually bought on Amazon, but this one Vankyo actually sent to me to review. This time the smaller 8-inch version, the MatrixPad S8. Currently this tablet is only $90 on Amazon. And I'll leave a link in the description below with current pricing and more information. Just a few specs here on the back. This has an 8-inch IPS display, HD cameras for the front and rear, and quad-core processor. Included in the box is the quick start guide, user manual, and this one comes with a micro USB charging cable. Now for some reason, they don't include a charging brick. Okay, so it's a fairly lightweight tablet. Power and volume buttons there on the right hand side. So it sort of looks like the shape of something that has more than one camera on the back. But as far as I know, there's just one rear facing camera. And then along the top is your charging port, micro SD card slot, and headphone jack. The back is covered with a textured plastic material, and then the speaker is there on the back towards the bottom. So before we get started, I thought I would just give you a quick size comparison against the Galaxy Tab A 8.0. They're actually pretty similar in size. Screen brightness is definitely a little better on the Samsung. So it's only using about 6 gigabytes of the 32 gigabytes available. This does have 2 gigabytes of RAM, and this is on Android 9.0. Once you swipe up from the bottom, you can see all of the apps installed. Luckily, they don't put too much bloatware on this device. And it does look like this has a built-in screen protector on it, so that's nice. It should protect your screen from scratches. The weird thing is it's going to let me install Asphalt 9, where on their larger tablet, the S30, you can only download Asphalt 8. And surprisingly, I don't know if it's the wallpaper they picked or what, but the screen actually looks pretty decent on this cheaper Android device. So the software on here is pretty much stock Android. You've got a pretty simple notification shade at the top. There's a couple things you can do to customize the shortcuts. There's really only one gesture on here, and that is jump to camera when you hit the power button twice. You do have a couple options to customize the navigation bar. On the lock screen, you've got swipe, pattern, pin, and password. And it doesn't appear that you get face unlock with this one, but you do get smart lock. You can choose between an automatic theme, or you can choose between light and dark. Now that I've got most of my apps installed, I am using about 13 gigabytes of the 32 gigabyte storage. When you swipe left of the home screen, you get your Google News feed. Now here's one weird thing that I did notice. See how some images aren't loading yet? So when I do a speed test using the Netflix Fast app, it only goes up to 110 kilobytes per second. It seems like my Wi-Fi speeds are really slow. And I did notice that only 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi is available on this tablet, which shouldn't be that big a deal. I should be getting at least around 50 megabits per second. One thing I did notice is the time was off, and then I realized the time zone was on China instead of United States, so I had to go in and adjust that. But there still seems to be something weird going on with the Wi-Fi. Okay, so let me give you a quick sample of what the speaker sounds like. In my opinion, it's definitely on the quiet side, even when turned all the way up. Here's a quick look at the speakers so you can hear what they sound like. The first case up is by Venti, and this is a folio type case, currently $15.99. It's got a selfie photo mirror, quick capture, tap anywhere to capture. It's actually a pretty fast shutter speed. Now, even though this is technically an HD display, you will only get 720p at 60 frames per second when watching videos on YouTube. And then same thing on Netflix, you're just gonna get standard definition. So here's another thing that I thought was a little strange with this tablet, is the notification shade, it actually swipes down in 3 different locations. Can't say I've ever seen that before. Now the camera on this device actually seems pretty horrible. Now this is definitely one of the worst cameras that I've used on a tablet. It might even be worse than some of the Amazon tablets that I've tested. Not only is the color way off, but it takes a really long time to focus and for it to actually take the photo. I mean, here in this photo you can actually read the text, so I guess that's good. And the camera app is super simple. You basically get two options. And the camera app on this is really simplified. You swipe over and you have camera and video. And then you click the settings and you've got a couple options: resolution and quality, and save location. Click on the three little dots and your only options are a timer, grid lines, HDR, and a switch to the front-facing camera. Here's a few examples of photos just so you can see how bad they are. Surprisingly, this tablet plays Asphalt 9 fairly decent, which is always a good sign for how well this device will be for other games. I'll show you some more gameplay so you know what to expect. Sure, it's the lowest graphics settings on PUBG Mobile, but it still played pretty smooth when playing games like PUBG Mobile and Call of Duty Mobile. I thought it was going to be unplayable or really choppy considering the price and specs of this tablet. Sure, it seemed a little slow when it comes to loading and getting into games, but luckily I had no problems once the game started up and they played pretty smooth for the most part. Now when I was using one of my iPega controllers, it did seem to have really bad lag for some reason during one of the games, so I started to use just the touchscreen to see if that helped, and then it seemed to play just fine. It wasn't like that all the time, but something that I thought I would mention. I also did a battery drain test streaming video with screen brightness at 100%, and it lasted right around 6.5 hours before it died completely, which is pretty good for a tablet in this price range. It then took about 3.5 hours to charge back up to 100%. So if you're looking for a cheap 8-inch Android tablet, there are better options out there, like the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 8.0 for just a little bit more money, and you'll also get a lot more options when it comes to cases and screen protectors. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from FishBee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.